Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Central Media. Central Media is actually a platform that has been created by the Center for Transparency and Accountability to be able to put forth its activity out there that people can actually understand the inner working of what Center is actually doing, making it public, making its activity public, that you can be able to consume whatever it's producing. So today we're joined. My name is Shine Williams. We're joined by two distinguished personalities from Central. We have Biola Ademula and Gerald Yakola from Central. So could you please introduce yourselves?
Well, thank you, Shine. My name is Gerald Yakola, and I work for the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia as program manager. And as program manager, I coordinate a lot of projects, and today we are here to discuss one of them.
Okay.
Alright, I'm Ademola Biodun, also a center staff, and I'm working here currently as a regional coordinator of the project. So it's nice being here again to talk today.
Okay, so this morning we were actually going to be discussing the EU budget support to Liberia. And there's no doubt that the European Union has been providing support to the Liberian government. But it's important that we really understand what kind of support has been provided to the government, what a budgetary support, or how actually the European Union has been providing support over the years or currently to the Liberian government. And so today these two personalities from Central will be talking, giving us more insight about EU's activity in Liberia and how it has been helping Liberia in general. So still tuned, we're going to come back and then we will begin the program. Thank you for returning, staying tuned. We now have our guests in studio. I believe they are proper and ready to provide some information that is really needed for the public consumption regarding the EU budget support to Liberia. So Gerald, could you give an overview of what the EU support to Liberia is actually, or what it's all about?
Yeah, so firstly, the EU stands for the European Union, and the European Union is this body of 280 European countries. Of course, European means Europe, the continent Europe. And so these countries come together to form themselves into an alliance, into a union to foster mutual growth, economic development, cooperation. So, as part of their own work, they've said, well, it's not always about us. Can we, we have the resources. There are other people that might be in need. There are other people that might be that we can extend our friendship to on all of the countries. So can we also go out? It's not all about the European Union. And so to do that, they establish diplomatic relationships with other countries. And Liberia has been one of those countries they have been able to establish that relationship. And so, as part of this relationship, they have a lot of interventions in the country. And some of them, and the main one which we want to discuss today is the budget support that they are giving to the Liberian government to be able to beef up. Every day we talk about budget shortfall, which may indicate by that meaning that the name itself, that we don't have enough money, we're not raising enough money locally to be able to fund our budget. So these partners like the EU are saying, look, can we help the country such that the country is able to raise enough revenue? So they are contributing to our budget in terms of budget support to the Liberian government, but more especially for the benefit of the Liberian people. And that's why we're here to discuss the EU budget support, its modalities, the framework, and how it's translating into the lives of the ordinary Liberian people.
So someone listening to you right now will want to know what is the importance of this whole campaign about providing information about the EU budget support to Liberia.
Yes, this campaign is some backdrop that there's some sense that the public, or there was some sense that the public was not really aware of the EU's intervention in the country.
Okay.
So to be able to do that, Central has partnered with the European Union to actually get to the bottom of this. Is that perception really true? Are people actually in the know of the EU and its support to the country? And so, as part of our activities with the EU, the first thing we did was to conduct a survey, a baseline survey that we conducted in 3 counties, namely Gambasa, Bonk, and Van Ketman counties. And this survey allowed us to interview over 200 persons. And basically, the bottom line of the survey was that even the national budget itself was really a tool that many people did not know, they didn't have knowledge about. We used to talk about the European Union own support to the country. So with that, it has become a learning curve where we know we've come to understand that there is really a knowledge gap, an information deficit, because the people, the budget is a tool that should benefit the citizens. Is a resource envelope that should be able to impact upon the citizens. So if the citizens are not aware of how much is in the budget, or of this instrument in the first place called the budget, it's really a problem. And as an institution that works on transparency and participation issues and accountability issues and governance issues, we're very concerned about how citizens know about the budget. So because of this, and because the survey has shown that many people did not know about the budget, and did not even know about the EU and other partner support to the Liberian government, especially in the area of direct budget support, we thought to launch a series of activities in terms of addressing these information gaps.
This seems interesting because if you look at the national budget, okay, for the ordinary person, it becomes difficult to really determine, for example, USAID, okay, USAID aid to Liberia, and then you have EU aid to Liberia, and then besides you have the government's own support to some of these programs and projects. So how it sometimes becomes a kind of gray area to really determine which project is actually supported by the government, which project is supported by maybe the EU or the USAID. So I think with this kind of information coming, people might be able to understand. Look, I mean, this is the kind of support that is being provided by the EU. This is support provided by this, and then this is support provided by government. They are also going to help, I believe, in the monitoring and process. Then let's come to Abiola. Abiola, what is Centers actually doing to ensure that people from out there, maybe people in the rural areas, people who do not really have the kind of access to information about the kind of support that is coming from international organizations like the EU? What is Centers doing to have these people aware, so that they can actively participate or know what is really happening in their communities?
Okay, that's a very good question. I would say that based on the survey that we did, that was the first thing we did, was to carry out a survey in the rural area to know this information gap between the rural people and also people in the city. So we realized that most of all the people we interviewed were not aware, even about the budget. They're not even concerned. They don't see it as something they should know. So we had 2 forums in these rural places, Bassa and Cape Mount. And the aim of the forum was to bring together participants to know about this budgetary support, the visibility of the project, for them to know that, okay, there is a certain amount of money that this European Union has given to our government, that it is meant given to the end users. They are the end users of whatsoever the government is doing. So they need to know that, okay, there is this international organization that is giving out this fund. And I will tell you that it was a very successful activity, because everybody that participated in that particular forum, they were all happy that, wow, this kind of initiative is very good for them. At least it's helping them to know the information gap, like to know about this particular European Union support to the Liberian government.
Okay, Gerald, from the study done, okay, there was a lot of information coming from there. Some of the findings were that people were adequately informed about the EU, that they did not have the kind of access. But let's move to the next level. The support that the EU provides to the Liberian government, is there any condition about this support? So before I give you money, is there any conditionalities that the support to the Liberian government is attached?
Yeah, thanks. That question is really valid. So the EU, as you are aware, the money they give is taxpayers' money.
Okay.
And in other words, those monies are hard-earned money. So the EU really does not, who are about just giving money out just because they want to give money out. Because these monies are intended to build our own state capabilities, to build our governance. They also are trying to see how can we ensure that these monies actually lead to any significant changes within this government, within the states. So to do that, they attach conditionalities. So just like you to answer your question. And these conditionalities or these conditions basically are saying, look, if you do this, we will give you this. So, for example, there's a condition currently on these are, for example, they have conditions now, the specific conditions from 2018 to 2020. For example, the EU is saying that the Liberian government must be able to raise money locally from our forestry sector. So if Liberia can be able to harness our resources in the forestry sector and can demonstrate that we are raising money to support our own budget through forestry, the EU can give us some money. If we can be able to make doing business across our border easy, the EU will say, okay, at least we are doing well in terms of trade, and so because of that, they will also trade with our own budget support. We can also demonstrate to the EU that our national budget is being used to deliver quality services as we plan it. So I mean, they are all in their indicators that our government has to show. Look, these are the specific conditions that you have given us, and this is what we are doing to be able to address them. The issue of fighting corruption is really a very key condition. So the EU is saying if our government can control and prevent corruption when buying goods and contracting services, so the whole issue of our procurement process, can the government be able to demonstrate? So all of these are the conditions that EU say once we can do that, and they are all geared towards making us better, making our country better, making our whole governance and our capabilities very stronger and resilient. So this is what the EU does in terms of its own budget support to the country. It's not just free money, it's the money that we have to be able to at least make some effort that will benefit our own selves.
Okay, in terms of Gerald spoke about some of the conditions set by the EU. For example, you got to do local resource mobilization, then trade facilitation, you got to enhance trade facilitation between different countries, between your country and other countries, as well as delivering on service delivery, quality service delivery, and also the issue of combating corruption. So, are these conditions being met? If you, from the meetings or what you've had with the EU, or whatever information you have, are these conditions being met? And if yes, what are they? If no, what are the reprimands or what are the downside of not meeting these conditions?
All right. For that particular space that have then been met, there are still specific conditions, and it might change by time. That is based on what is happening in the country. The specific condition can change. But previously, for the money they've received from the EU, they've met some certain conditions, which has made the EU to support them, giving them what they promised. That is, in as much as you've done what I asked you to do, then the money will come. That is, the support they want to give to Liberia will come. But if peradventure they did not meet up with it, we are made to know that they are definitely going to cut off the money, and they will still be supporting Liberia, but it will not be that towards the budgetary support they give. They will channel their money in another way,
maybe through NGOs or some other
just for the end users to get what they are supposed to. So going through the government is because they believe that if the government is there, they have the plan work, they have the budget, they have something they wanted to do, but they are not incapable to do it based on the funds they have. So that is why going through the government is for you to get, at least for all the citizens to participate in what they are giving. So in a case whereby they did not meet with this specific condition that Mr. Gerard mentioned about, which is for them to have some income from their forestry, these are the ones that are yet to come. So if Liberia will meet up with this certain condition for now, then the money, any other money that EU is promising to give, they will definitely give. But in the past, there have been some criteria that Liberia has definitely adhered to, and they've received money.
So Gerald, you listened to Abiodun giving some of the conditions. Will you be able to, which specific conditions can we boast of right now as really can be considered satisfactory to the EU and also probably to the government itself?
Yeah, I mean, just to pick up from where she stopped, So yes, the conditions are named earlier. Those are future conditions on the monies to come. But the EU has already been giving money, so by that then there's an underlying logic that says that there must be having conditions that were met.
Yeah.
So what were those conditions? For example, the EU said, well, Liberian government, okay, to give you guys money to help your budget and aid your budget. Firstly, we want to see that there are updated procurement plans for the judiciary. So we have 5 public entities that were able to update their procurement plans for buying goods and services, and of course, in the specific conditions, at least earlier, the issue of preventing corruption in procuring and buying goods and services. So that was a specific condition. So now for the condition already met, we have 5 entities already, especially in the justice and judiciary sector, that have already updated their procurement plan. Because you may be aware, procurement is where a lot of money goes into buying goods and services. And we don't follow our public financial management law, we don't follow our PPCC laws, and it's really a problem. So we can have people updating their procurement plans and being able to comply with the law, then really that is a plus. Because if you're following the law, we're not just buying anything we want to buy. We're not just doing things without achieving best value for money. Or we're not going through corrupt practices to be able to get money. You know, you pay one roll, and the roll, you say the roll is $1.6 million, but it's spending $300,000 on you. What happened to the balance money? But we have a very clear procurement process that encourages competition, encourages transparency. Then you can be able, to save money and prevent corruption. So we've been able to have like 5 public entities that are able to comply with a particular specific condition. We also had county treasuries being established in Bonk. Before these treasuries were established, all of the county level ministry and agencies, because these some of these ministries have their local branches down in the counties. For example, internal affairs, you have the counties over the superintendent. Most of them will come to Monrovia to get money and process money. But the county treasurers is kind of decentralized, and they don't have to come all the way to Monrovia to be able to process requests and payments. So the EU allowed that as a condition. Say, look, if you can be able to decentralize your spending, at least so that other of your branches in the counties can come all the way to Monrovia, we'll give you some support. And that was achieved. We also on the issue of rule of law. The whole issue of police has been a really a very serious issue, because you see citizens complaining in terms of the behavior of our police people, the attitude of our police officers. So you say, look, Liberia National Police, do you have any handbook, any rule and procedure, or you have to be able to hold people accountable? If a police officer, transgresses, is there any way that you can hold him accountable or have him penalized? No. So the EU said, look, we have to be able to establish rules for civilian complaints in the first place. So that with that competition, we had the EU pushing our Liberian government, and the Liberian government agreed, and now we have the rules established. So any citizen now can take advantage of that particular mechanism to be able to lay complaint against any police officer. We also had issue about we have a board that was set up. We also have issue about sexual and gender-based violence cases. We had many cases on the docket not being tried, and so the EU said that we have to be able to ensure that we protect our girls, protect our women. So we need these cases not just to be in the docket, have to be action. So the Ministry of Justice, for example, we had a prosecuting arm. You ensure that you prosecute these cases. So we have like over 1,522 cases that we're waiting at the magistrate courts try and decide.
That is across the country?
They're in Nima and Lofa alone. 1,522 cases were tried in terms of access to justice, especially for women and girls. So these are the areas. So the EU looks at how we are operating as a country, what are the constraints, and say, look, can you do well here? If you can make some efforts in addressing these concerns and constraints and challenges, we'll be able to give you support. And because it shows that you are building yourself up as a country, you are strengthening your governance systems, and so we can give you support.
So from what you've just said, it signifies that the more we're making gains in the integrity sector, the more we're making gains in terms of service delivery, the more we're making gains in the area of rule of law, the more we're making gains in terms of local resource mobilization. And obviously we're going to have our international partners providing more support to the country. And so this is why I think it's very important that people who are listening now, people in government, they can take cue from this. That look, there is a need to do more. So even if they're doing something like we've already stated, they'll be the people are providing the procurement plan, like five different ministries. The ministries they'll be able to provide the updated procurement plan that other ministries and agencies can also follow, such that there's going to be increased budget support for the national government as a means of helping to implement a lot of the program projects we have around. So Abiola, in terms of what will you say from the research conductor, the study conductor? What will you say as the single most thing that you think is important for the government to ensure that there is increased budget support?
All right. What I would say is that from the survey, the citizens were dissatisfied with how the government not being transparent, not being coming out to tell them this and this. Not that the partners themselves will be the one to visibilize their project, like visibilize their budgetary support to the government. And I wanted to say again that it's one of the criteria. They need to inform the citizen about their budgetary support, that is EU budgetary support to the government. But I don't want to say our governments don't know the right thing to do. Probably I don't know their excuse for not doing that. But in as much as the citizens are getting to know that they need to know about the budget, they are the end user of it. So why should they be kept out of it? I can't really say because I can't speak for the government. But I'm just saying that the government needs to be more transparent in their dealings for them to receive more help. Because if you are not being transparent, if I'm giving you 100 LD and you cannot give me the feedback on how you spend the 100 LD, you expect me to come back with giving you 200 or 500, I won't. Because you're not being able to give me the account, you're not being able accountable for what I've even given to you. So for us to receive more from the international partners, we also need to be transparent and be accountable for whatsoever that we receive.
So Gerald, let's come to Gerald. What will you think is the backdrop or the justification for the EU, because the EU has been supporting the government over a period? So what would be the justification, or what had been the trigger for which the EU and Center has decided to actually carry on this program?
Yeah, what has been the trigger? And I think the trigger may be accountability. The EU is also accountable to its taxpayers. So the EU, firstly, and is in a way accountable to the Liberian people, because I mean they are helping us, and so if they are helping us, and there's someone who is in the way, who is a middle person, who is the government, they are also supposed to ensure that that middleman is doing what he's supposed to do. So the trigger, I would say, is that firstly the survey. So there was this perception, but this perception was not really concretized. So there has to be this study, and the study was done, and the study really showed that people were not aware of the budget. So then it confirmed what was out there, that there's very little information on the EU budget support. And so that in itself was, an empirical study that showed that this is a trend. And so because of that, we now had to take some actions. So it's not just now center thinking, well, the budget is something that's opaque, many people don't know about the budget. It's not just the EU saying, well, do we already know about the EU that we're giving money to the government? But now we have studies that was conducted. People went in the field and asked questions to people, and people say, we already don't know about the EU budget support, even the budget itself. So, and these are the reasons why we have these frameworks. The Liberian government signed up for the Open Government Partnership, the Open Budget Initiative. And it's all meant to open up government, like Abiodun said, the issue of being able to be transparent and give information to citizens. And I think since 2012, Liberia acceded and has been trying to see how best we can open our budget, so citizens can even participate. At least now it's just information. But we also need to go a step further. How can citizens even participate in the budget process? It's not just about carving a budget and say, well, here's a budget. But can citizens have input into the budget process?
But in my opinion, citizens have been having input into the budget process.
Wow.
So processes. So you see,
Love
you know,
this.
usually we have a direct representative. So we have our lawmakers, we have our senators there.
No.
So they're actually speaking in the interest of the citizens. What were you?
Really?
I won't accept that. I won't say that is right because you have your opinion. Even if you have the people. that
So
you
what
are
should be done?
representing,
Yeah.
They should still, even for the fact that they have a representative,
Yeah.
the citizen still needs to be involved.
Okay.
You have your own idea, you have your own perspective. Even if I'm telling you that this pen you can buy it elsewhere for 20, you might decide, you might get there and say no, let's get the one of 100. You are not speaking on my behalf again, you are talking based on your own interests. So, and we are humans, so we should not trust them that, oh, because they are representing us. There are some of them that are even representing that they compare individually, not that they are representative. Like probably one or two person that you say that is knowledgeable enough to understand and that can also give something input. Like it doesn't completely have to take all their ideas, but please let them say that, oh, I was also part in this particular process.
Okay. So in closing, to summarize all that we've discussed, what do you think, and that goes to the both of you, what do you think will be what will you recommend in terms of, but first, before your recommendation, what do you think will be the advantages for the EU who is providing the support? What is also going to be the advantage for the government who are receiving the support, and what's also going to be an advantage for the citizens who should be aware that the EU is providing such support?
Okay, firstly for the partners, at least it will be a success and a plus for them that, oh, in this particular country, Liberia, that we are supporting, they are being transparent, they are meeting their specific conditions for us to provide more. One thing is to definitely attract more of their funding to us. And for the government, it's going to help us to represent the citizen well. Because the citizen have trusted you enough to vote you in to represent them. So if you are meeting up the specific conditions, as in, it will even enable other international partners to come into the picture. That, oh, Liberia is really doing well in their corruption, in their transparency. Even if the president is going out, is taking 1 naira out of the account, it is being publicized and all those kind of things is going to help the country as a whole. So even to the citizen, it's definitely because they are the end user of everything that comes into the country. They are the end user of it. If the government is building an hospital, it will visit it, but most out of the 100% of people that are visiting the hospital, to be the citizen, they are the end user of whatsoever service that the government is rendering. So it's also going to represent them more, even when they are out of the country. That, oh, you are from Liberia, people will want to partner with you. They want to work with you because they know that, oh, there is somebody somewhere that is representing you well on that space. So it's definitely going to be helpful.
Okay. So from what Abiadam said, Gerald, what would you recommend finally to the government of Liberia?
Well, to the government of Liberia, I want to recommend, just in the news, it's currently on our central budget website. Our central budget website now is carrying a story that we're going to lose $1.2 million because the government has failed to finalize its procurement procedures in terms of the procurement plans. So we have
You mean from the EU?
Yeah, so there's a competition for the EU now. So the other one was in the past, the first 5 minutes you will talk about.
Yeah.
That now there's a particular condition on the same procurement
Okay.
that says there should be some 91% compliance, so 91% of all government ministries and agencies
Should comply.
in terms of the procurement plans. And now I think we have only 82%. It came up in the last national policy dialogue roundtable we had just recently. So it shows that, so we're not going to get that money because
So we're still lagging behind on.
so we are missing out just to update the procurement plan. We're going to miss out on $1.2 million. So I really, it's something that we could have cut in to use. Maybe it's for some of our purple roads or for some of our education ventures. We're going to lose all that money because other ministries have not submitted.
Do we still have time, or the time has elapsed?
I'm being told that the time has already elapsed, even though they are in touch with the EU looking for adjustment, but time has already elapsed, and we have to lose that. I'm not sure they can convince the EU, but I mean, so in terms of really what the government should be doing, we think some of these low-hanging fruits need to be grasped. I mean, this one is just it's your own work by law. You're required to do procurement plan. And the EU is saying, okay, so if you do a procurement plan, that which the law requires, we'll give you money for it, $1.2 million. And what you have to do to help in your own purchasing of goods and services as an entity, you cannot do that. That really is a problem. So I think as a recommendation to the government, I think we need, aside from the EU support, those processes we have as a country, we need to be able to do them, such that we can be able to have a viable state and viable governance framework, aside from the EU support. Even where we have these triggers coming in the conditions, let's try to meet them, because we don't have a lot of resources. The EU says, raise money locally. Raising money locally is our own good, and also they say if you do that, we're also going to pay you for it. Can you imagine? So I think these are things we need to be able to take advantage of, because it helps us, and if someone is going to appreciate us, because of how I look at it, appreciate us for doing good. So let's see how else we can be able to be very proactive and be able to ensure that we do those things that are right. But more besides, in terms of the visibility of these assistance that come, we also need to be able to be appreciated, because as an African country, as a traditional country, we know that, I mean, it's always going to be, grateful to the end that feeds you and all of that. So if somebody lends a helping hand, it's just always good to say, oh, thank you. We need to be able to do that when we'll cap our budget, when we will spend money. Is there even a way to say, look, since the EU is giving us, $1 million, we'll say, look, for example, we'll say, look, this particular $1 million, we're going to use it to payroll. So at least that people know that the money that the EU giving is going towards a particular thing, so that they get mixed up and confused.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we come to a close of this program. To summarize this entire discussion is that from the EU end, the EU needs the government to be more transparent. From what I've heard from you people, and be able to meet up with their conditionalities to get increased budget support or sustained budget support. And then from the side of the government needs to be more proactive. It has to deliver on some of the things that the EU wants as conditions to get support. And then from the citizens end, the citizens they need to be aware of the EU budget support to Liberia, to the national government. Thank you very much. My guest has been Abiodun Adimola and Gerald Yakula, who is the program manager of Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. You people did very well, and then I'm your host, Shine Williams. We'll be here another time discussing other pressing matters on Center Media. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.